All right, boys and girls, it's a new week and a new year, and that means there's new opportunities to make life changing gains. But it might be the last opportunity to make life changing gains because whenever these big institutions like BlackRock get in, the price of Bitcoin is going to explode and it might never come back down. Right now, as I'm actually recording this, it looks like the price of Bitcoin is trying to explode to the upside, and it might even be able to break out of this symmetrical triangle, which has a price target of around $50,000. But what's pushing the price of Bitcoin up today? Well, there was some news that's just recently released that the SEC might notify users as soon as Tuesday, which is tomorrow, or even Wednesday, that they have been cleared to launch the following week. It seems like this would undoubtedly send us exploding to the upside, and we would probably never come back down ever again. But why is so many people saying that this is going to be bearish for the price of Bitcoin? Here we have an article on CoinDesk that says Bitcoin ETF's approval are tipped to be a sell the news event. According to CryptoQuant, it says Bitcoin could fall as low as $32,000 next month if a ETF is approved. And that would kind of make a little bit of sense if we actually pumped up here on speculation that the ETF approval could happen here in the next week or two. And then if we hit this resistance that we've bounced off of several times here in the past year, then it could send us back down to this other resist or support line actually that we've bounced off of several times. And coincidentally, that would actually bring us down around $32,000. I was actually thinking that because people are waiting to see if it's going to be a sell the news event, if it goes up after the approval, like I was kind of suggesting might happen since this symmetrical triangle kind of ends on January 10th, which is when the approval date is supposed to happen, then people could start to FOMO in like crazy since they start to see that it's actually pumping on that day instead of dumping. And then BlackRock could take total advantage of that situation because we have to remember that they're definitely not our friends. BlackRock is just trying to make a profit like everybody else, and if they see us all getting excited, then they're likely to humble us real quick. And they have the ability to dump on us almost like no one else can. They have $10 trillion in assets under management, and if they've been buying in the back door, trying to accumulate some Bitcoin and get ready for this approval to happen, then they could be expecting a little bit of a pump to happen, and whenever that goes down, then it would only make sense for them to dump on the market because that would cause max pain and give them an opportunity to buy in lower. There's a saying in the crypto space that goes, if you miss the boat, then you miss the boat. But if the institutions miss the boat, then they're bringing that boat back. And if you go ahead and look at this chart right here since the beginning of 2023, we've been running pretty far on this ETF approval speculation, and this boat has gotten kind of far without BlackRock having their ETF on board. We've never seen this exact catalyst before in the crypto space, but I like to think that it's kind of like whenever smaller coins are being listed on Binance for the first time. The earlier investors might take an opportunity to pull profits, but now it's available to a much wider audience of people who will just feel more comfortable and have more money to invest. Whenever big established players like BlackRock are offering financial instruments like a Bitcoin ETF, normies are going to feel much more comfortable investing in something like that instead of actually holding their own cryptocurrency in a cold storage wallet because they could just lose that if they misplace the keys or something. A lot of people aren't willing to take that risk and they want someone to hold their hand, and they're more than willing to let BlackRock hold on to their Bitcoin. And people like you and me who are willing to take that risk are going to reap the rewards. So maybe we will see a little bit of a sell the news event upon the approval of these spot ETFs because BlackRock has probably been buying a bunch of Bitcoin, and if people start to pump the price, then they're going to take some profits. These big institutions are going to manipulate the price as much as they can so that they can maximize their profits. Nobody really knows what's going to happen, and nobody knows what's going to happen with the price action in the short term. But everybody can pretty much agree that the price is just going to go up in the long term, because as these institutions that manage trillions of dollars in assets under management and all of these sovereign wealth funds and pension funds and everything start to pile their money into Bitcoin, it doesn't even make sense for it to really go down, honestly. And another catalyst that could cause people to FOMO in even harder is that the ETF is going to follow the price of Bitcoin as far as the price action goes, but the shares will be cheaper probably than the actual price of Bitcoin, meaning that people are going to see it as a cheaper option than actually buying some Satoshis for some reason, because apparently people don't know that you can actually split Bitcoin into 100 million Satoshis. What really matters is how much the price goes up in percentages, because it's just going to push your portfolio up in that amount of percentage. But for the same reason as people pour their money into these meme coins that have a price of like 0.000001 cents, people are going to see a cheaper ETF than the price of Bitcoin as an opportunity for the price to actually go up further, because that's how normies psychology works, and these NPCs are going to fall for all of BlackRock's tricks. In my opinion, this is probably going to be a buy the rumor, buy the news situation, because this is going to make it actually possible for a lot of people to buy that couldn't before. People like my dad, for example, who have their money in a Roth IRA or something like that, and their brokerage account doesn't actually offer Bitcoin, so they keep trying to have to buy things like Bitcoin miner stocks, which are definitely not exactly following the price of Bitcoin. And there's just a lot of big players who are going to be able to actually buy Bitcoin now, because this is going to open the door where there just wasn't one before. One thing that could send the price of Bitcoin down is if we actually had the SEC push these out until the next deadline, because you might not know this by the way everybody's talking, but BlackRock actually has one more deadline for this spot ETF to be approved, and that's all the way out into March. The reason why everybody seems to think that it's going to be approved on the 10th, though, is probably because ARK21 shares' final deadline is on that day. Not to mention, Grayscale already won a lawsuit against the SEC, and it looks like they can't really turn them down anymore because the judge said so. But the SEC could deny the ARK21 shares ETF, and then they could push all of the rest of these off until March and make ARK Invest in 21 shares refile a totally new application, which could even have them being approved at the same time as all of these other ones would be pushed out until March. If that was to happen, then everybody would totally panic, and they would think that there was going to be an outright denial probably, and this would send the price of Bitcoin probably down to about $32,000, I think. I'm not saying that I think that's what's going to happen, and I really hope it doesn't, obviously. The best case scenario is that we'll just break out of this symmetrical triangle and then turn this previous level of resistance here, or this trend line, into support before skyrocketing to the upside and ultimately breaking above this arcing resistance line that we've bounced off of at the top of every bull market in the past. If that happens, then there's no telling where the price is going to go. But like I've said a million times in the past, nothing goes up in a straight line forever, so eventually we are going to see some kind of retracements, and it could definitely happen right after the ETF is approved. So let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Is this going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news situation? And if so, how low are we going to go? Either way, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.